happened?
The first time in London, I was so young. Giuffre woke me up in the morning and said, "You're gonna meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together," and I was like, "Okay," and we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Giuffre and Giuffre, and Giuffre said he's coming back to the house, and I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. I couldn't believe it.
That is a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking ring. And while she was being abused, 2 British princesses allegedly knew what was happening and took £20 million to stay quiet about it.
Head around taking your teenage daughter to meet the
Well, they knew him quite well. He'd attended their birthday party.
Imagine finding out your mother told a friend you were away on a shagging weekend. Now imagine that friend is a convicted paedophile. It feels like an egregious breach of trust, but this is precisely the level of humiliation Princess Eugenie had to endure when 3 million new Epstein files were released last week for all the world to see. We now know that her father, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, emailed photos of his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, bike riding and climbing to Jeffrey Epstein in 2010 and 2011. Epstein had been listed on the New York Sex Offenders Register since 2008. In 2009, just after Epstein had served 12 months in prison for soliciting a child for prostitution, Sarah and her 2 daughters visited him for lunch in his Palm Beach home. The newly released tranche of emails show that this lunch seems to have taken place when Epstein was still under house arrest. In October last year, it emerged that Andrew hosted Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell and Harvey Weinstein at Royal Lodge as part of Beatrice's 18th birthday celebrations in 2006. Just 2 months earlier, an arrest warrant had been issued for Epstein in the US for the alleged sexual assault of a minor. There's no suggestion or allegation of wrongdoing by the princesses, but there is a strong suggestion that both were used as pawns in their parents' quest to curry favour with, and in the case of Sarah Ferguson, borrow money from, the wealthy Epstein. There's seemingly no way back now for Mountbatten-Windsor or Ferguson, but the question remains, what lies ahead for their daughters?
Fresh leaked emails from the Epstein files have just blown the lid off one of the biggest royal cover-ups in modern history. These documents show that Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, the daughters of the now disgraced Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the man formerly known as Prince Andrew, were brought directly into Epstein's orbit by their own mother. And the evidence suggests they were paid millions to keep their mouths shut about what they saw. Their father just got arrested. Their mother's been dropped by every charity she worked with, and the palace is in full damage control. Let's break all of it down. So here's what happened. When the DOJ released millions of pages from the Epstein files, starting in December 2025 and continuing into January 2026, buried inside those documents were emails that directly mentioned Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Not once, not twice, hundreds of times. But the most damaging emails came from their mother, Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York. According to CNN, the leaked correspondence shows Ferguson had a far deeper relationship with Epstein than the royal family ever admitted. Let's go through the key emails. In 2009, just 5 days after Epstein was released from prison for soliciting a minor, Ferguson emailed Epstein's team asking to bring her daughters to see him in Miami. The email reportedly read, "What address shall we come to? It will be myself, Beatrice, and Eugenie." 5 days after this man walked out of prison for crimes against children, their mother is arranging a lunch meeting and bringing her teenage daughters along.
Let's have a look at a few more emails Fergie sent Epstein, a convicted pedophile at this point. She wrote, "I have never been more touched by a friend's kindness than your compliment to me in front of my girls. And this, you are a legend. I really don't have the words to describe my love, gratitude for your generosity and kindness." And this one, not sure yet, just waiting for Eugenie to come back from a shagging weekend. I mean, why would you speak like that to a man like Giuffre Epstein? And she also wrote, I am at your service, just marry me. And this, when are you going to employ me? Also, and phew, you still love me.
Then, in a 2011 email to his lawyer, Epstein himself bragged that Ferguson, quote, was the first to celebrate my release with her 2 daughters in tow. He added that she then took apartments in New York and asked for help with her charities. So Epstein is telling his own legal team that the Duchess of York brought her daughters to celebrate a convicted predator's release from prison. And then there's the email that shocked the entire world. In March 2010, Epstein asked Ferguson about a trip to New York. Her response? Not sure yet, just waiting for Eugenie to come back from a shagging weekend. She's sharing intimate details about her 19-year-old daughter's private life with a convicted sex offender. That is not a protective mother. As CNN's royal editor Russell Myers put it, it's incredibly distressing for both young women to see themselves mentioned so freely by their parents to a convicted sex offender.
And it didn't stop there. In another exchange, Epstein asks Ferguson if there's any chance of your daughter saying hello to someone who would be in London. Ferguson casually replies, telling him where each daughter is and what they're doing. She was giving Epstein a real-time tracker of her own children's locations. Now let's talk about the money, because the emails aren't just embarrassing. They point to something much darker. Communications between Epstein's financial advisors and representatives for the princesses, dated between 2010 and 2019, reveal a pattern of payments that total approximately £20 million. And these payments weren't made the normal way. They were split into multiple wire transfers, routed through offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Switzerland. That's not how you send a birthday gift. That's how you hide money. And the language in the emails is what really gives it away. A 2012 message references keeping the York girls happy and cooperative. A 2015 email discusses continued discretion in exchange for financial support. And a 2017 email explicitly mentions silence regarding previous visits and activities. Let me say that again. Silence regarding previous visits and activities. These aren't vague pleasantries. This is the language of a cover-up. You don't pay £20 million for someone's silence if there's nothing to be silent about. And the timing of these payments lines up perfectly with critical moments in the Epstein investigations. Money moved right before victims came forward. Money moved before documentaries aired. Money moved before court cases intensified. Every single time the spotlight got brighter on Epstein, payments went out to the princesses. That's not coincidence, that's strategy. The £20 million was reportedly split roughly equally between Beatrice, Eugenie, and their mother, Sarah Ferguson. And Ferguson's role wasn't passive. The emails show her coordinating, facilitating, and acting as the middleman between Epstein's financial team and her own daughters. Remember, this is the same woman who called Epstein a legend in a January 2010 email. The same woman who wrote, "Just marry me," to him. The same woman who begged him for £20,000 to pay her rent. She even asked Epstein if she could borrow $50,000 or $100,000 to help get through the small bills. She wasn't just financially dependent on Epstein, she was offering her daughter's silence as currency. To understand how deep this goes, you have to understand what's happened to the princess's father. Because the man formerly known as Prince Andrew has had the most dramatic fall from grace in modern royal history.
Except here's an email from Andrew to Epstein in 2009. "Please, may I stay in your beautiful apartment again?" Andrew was asking about using Epstein's place in Paris at a time when he says there was no contact.
He was released in July. Within months, by December.
What was I doing, and was it the right thing to do?
But this email was sent as soon as Epstein's sentence was over in July 2010, saying, "Congratulations, as he'd found out you were allowed out from yesterday." While in New York, this picture was taken of the pair walking in a park. Andrew gave an account of their conversation, where their connection was said to have been severed.
It started with that catastrophic 2019 BBC interview where Andrew tried to explain away his friendship with Epstein. He claimed he couldn't have been with Virginia Giuffre because he was at a Pizza Express in Woking for Beatrice's birthday party. He said he couldn't sweat due to a medical condition from the Falklands War. The interview was so badly received that he stepped back from royal duties within days. But then the Epstein files blew everything wide open. Emails showed Andrew was still in contact with Epstein through at least February 2011, months after he told the BBC he'd cut all ties in December 2010. One email from Andrew to Epstein literally read, "We are in this together and will have to rise above."
So just to repeat this breaking news, His Majesty the King has initiated a formal notice, a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours of Prince Andrew.
In October 2025, King Charles did what many thought was impossible. He stripped his own brother of every title he had, not just the Duke of York title, but the title of Prince itself. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor became the first senior royal to lose the title of Prince since 1919. He was evicted from the Royal Lodge, the 30-room mansion where he'd been living rent-free, paying just 1 peppercorn per year. Virginia Giuffre's family released a statement that day saying, "Today, an ordinary American girl from an ordinary American family brought down a British prince with her truth and extraordinary courage." Giuffre herself had died by suicide in April 2025 at the age of 41, never getting to see this moment.
Joining me here tonight, the brother and sister-in-law of Virginia Giuffre, Sky and Amanda Roberts, and thank you two for coming back here on obviously a really big day in terms of what this means. You just heard Max saying it's essentially unprecedented. And Sky, I wonder for you, what does it mean to you that he will no longer be known as Prince Andrew?
I can tell you it's been a really joyous and happy and sad, and a sad day because she should be here. She should be having this interview with you, Caitlin. But it's, you know, it's definitely some vindication for Virginia. I think that she had been fighting for this for a long time. She always said, you know, only one of us is telling the truth, and I know that's me. And I think this is a big sense of vindication for her from not just the general public, but from the king himself to say, I stand by survivors. And, you know, we're really proud of her. We're so proud of what she was able to achieve. And this is a huge moment for her. Not necessarily just for me, but for survivors out there. It's an acknowledgement to say, we believe you, we see you, okay? And for me, I love you, we love you, and so we're here. And this is a very vindicating moment for us, and I wish she was here to share this with us.
But it didn't stop there. The BBC then revealed that Andrew had actually hosted Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Harvey Weinstein at the Royal Lodge during Beatrice's 18th birthday party in 2006. 3 of the most notorious predators in modern history at his daughter's birthday celebration. And then, on February 19th, 2026, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office in connection with his ties to Epstein. He became the first senior British royal to be arrested in nearly 400 years. The investigation stems from documents in the Epstein files, suggesting Andrew may have passed official government documents to Epstein during his time as a trade envoy.
Britain's former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Now known as Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, he was taken into custody in Norfolk just a short while ago. He is accused of allegedly sharing confidential information with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mountbatten-Windsor has previously denied any wrongdoing over his ties to Epstein. King Charles had stripped his brother of his titles back in October and has since evicted him from Windsor.
A recent poll showed that 91% of British citizens had a negative opinion of Andrew. His brother, the king, was heckled in public, with someone shouting, "How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?" The anti-monarchy group Republic has even launched a private prosecution against him. This is the father of Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. This is the family they come from. And the question everyone is asking is, What did the daughters know? Here's the uncomfortable truth that no one in the palace wants to address. Beatrice and Eugenie weren't just casual acquaintances of Epstein's. Their mother brought them directly into his world when they were teenagers. Epstein paid for their flights to Miami in July 2009, 5 days after being released from prison for crimes against children. Ferguson's team was emailing Epstein's staff trying to upgrade the daughters' flights, pushing for first class on a convicted predator's dime. One email from Ferguson's assistant read that the Duchess has asked that she be in first and the girls in club on the flight back, and that Giuffre said that this would be okay. They attended birthday parties where Epstein was present. Their father sent Epstein the family Christmas card with photos of the princesses in 2011 and 2012. Their mother was sharing details about Eugenie's intimate personal life with this man. And emails reference previous visits and activities that needed to remain private. Now, royal sources have claimed that Beatrice and Eugenie never met Epstein. A source close to Ferguson told The Telegraph that neither she nor her daughters had any recollection of such a visit. But the emails tell a completely different story. Epstein himself said Ferguson celebrated his release with her 2 daughters in tow. Ferguson's own emails reference bringing both girls to lunch with him. You don't spend time at Epstein's homes, on his properties, around his circle, and see nothing. The emails reference sensitive information that could be damaging if disclosed. What information? What activities? The emails don't spell it out. But £20 million tells you everything you need to know. You don't pay that kind of money to keep someone quiet about nothing. And here's what's really telling. According to multiple reports, the sisters are now taking very different approaches to the fallout. Eugenie has reportedly almost completely severed contact with her father. A source told the Mail on Sunday it was, quote, Brooklyn Beckham level. She has completely cut him off. This is especially significant because Eugenie co-founded the Anti-Slavery Collective, a charity dedicated to combating modern slavery and human trafficking. The irony of that is not lost on anyone. Beatrice, on the other hand, has been spotted with her father more recently and reportedly feels a greater responsibility to check on her parents' well-being. But neither princess has made any public statement. No denials, no legal action to dispute the leaked documents, just silence. The same silence they've allegedly been paid £20 million to maintain. Let's be real about something. £20 million doesn't move through accounts connected to British royals without Buckingham Palace knowing about it. The royal household has financial advisors. They have royal protection officers. They have an entire infrastructure designed to monitor everything connected to the family. Multiple wire transfers routed through offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Switzerland, totaling £20 million, directed at the daughters of the Queen's son. Someone knew, and they stayed quiet. Because protecting Beatrice and Eugenie meant protecting the crown. It meant avoiding another Andrew situation. It meant keeping the Epstein scandal as far from the throne as possible. So they let the payments happen. They let the silence continue.
Charles, how long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Andrew got prosecution!
And when victims came forward, when documentaries exposed the truth, when the Epstein files started dropping, the palace put out carefully worded statements about being deeply concerned. But they weren't concerned enough to ask Beatrice and Eugenie what they actually knew. They weren't concerned enough to voluntarily hand over information to investigators. They were concerned about one thing: protecting the institution. Sarah Ferguson's role in all of this cannot be overstated. She was desperate for money. Divorced from Andrew, cut off from royal funds, drowning in debt. She saw Epstein as the solution. And she had 2 assets that Epstein valued: her daughters, royal princesses with access, connections, and information.
Now, some breaking news just coming into us. Sarah, Duchess of York, has been dropped as a patron of a children's hospice after it emerged that she sent an email apologising to paedophile financier Giuffre Epstein for publicly disowning him.
Well, let's get the very latest now on this breaking news with our royal correspondent, Cameron Walker.
Yes, not a very good look for the Duchess of York. So, of course, 2008, Giuffre Epstein was convicted of a number of child sex offences. Then fast forward to 2011, Sarah, the Duchess of York, took part in a media interview where she apologised for accepting £15,000 from Giuffre Epstein to pay off some of her debts. Now, it appears that Giuffre Epstein was a bit annoyed by that media interview, because a couple of weeks later, having pledged to never contact the convicted paedophile again, Sarah did just that, secretly emailing Giuffre Epstein a grovelling apology, calling him her supreme friend, which of course has now emerged in the Sunday papers. And that is why the charity Julia's House has decided to cut ties with Sarah, Duchess of York. Called it is a children's hospice charity. Now, the charity has said in a statement, following the information shared this weekend on the Duchess of York's correspondence with Giuffre Epstein, Julia's House has taken the decision that it would be inappropriate for her to continue as a patron of the charity. We have advised the Duchess of York of this decision and thank her for her past support. Now, a spokesman for the Duchess previously told GB News ahead of this announcement this afternoon that the Duchess spoke of her regret about her association with Epstein many years ago.
The consequences are finally catching up. Multiple charities have dropped Ferguson as their patron, including Julia's House, Teenage Cancer Trust, and Prevent Breast Cancer. Julia's House specifically stated that it would be inappropriate for her to continue as a patron following the leaked Epstein correspondence. Ferguson has left the Royal Lodge. She's reportedly making her own living arrangements after decades of living off the royal family's goodwill. Her spokesperson told The Guardian that the Duchess was taken in by Epstein's lies and had cut off contact once she learned the extent of his crimes. But the emails say otherwise. The emails show a woman who knew exactly who she was dealing with and kept coming back for more money. Step back and look at what we're dealing with. The DOJ has released over 3 million pages of Epstein documents. Among those pages, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are named hundreds of times. Their mother was sharing their personal details with a convicted predator. Their father hosted Epstein, Maxwell, and Weinstein at family events. £20 million was routed through offshore accounts to buy their silence. And now their father has been arrested for the first time a senior royal has faced arrest in nearly 400 years. Royal author Andrew Lowney has called for Beatrice and Eugenie to renounce their titles entirely. He said, "That's the first thing they should do because that's why there is interest." But others argue the princesses deserve sympathy, that they were used as pawns by their parents. And maybe that's true. Maybe Beatrice and Eugenie were victims of their parents' terrible judgment. But victims who take £20 million in hush money while other victims, like Virginia Giuffre, spend their entire lives fighting for justice and ultimately take their own lives. That's a different conversation entirely.
From Mar-a-Lago, and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day.
If the tragedy of Giuffre Epstein's sex trafficking ring had a face, it might have been this woman, Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Before she died from suicide last April at the age of 41, she wrote an unflinching memoir, Nobody's Girl, with the hope it would be published in case of her death.
Virginia Giuffre died in April 2025 at the age of 41. She never stopped fighting. She never took hush money. She brought down a British prince with nothing but the truth. And 2 princesses who could have helped, who could have used their platform, their privilege, and their information to support the victims, allegedly chose £20 million instead. The royal family will try to protect them. The palace will spin this. The media will eventually move on. But the emails are out there now. The financial records exist. And the truth is something that no amount of money can bury forever. What do you think should happen to Beatrice and Eugenie? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe, because the Epstein files are still being released, and we're not done.